What I would do initially, there's two ways you can go with TV. TV is an addiction. It is just like heroin or morphine or opium. They don't like to talk about this, but all of their statistics show that people are addicted to television, and they show the same type of withdrawal symptoms when they stop watching television as they do with other addictive drugs. This has all been scientifically documented. It's not something that I'm making up. And there are many books, The Plug-in Drug by Denise Wynn, or 4 Arguments for the Elimination of Television, Amusing Ourselves to Death, a whole bunch. I've read a lot of books on television written by very brilliant analysts of that medium. And so basically it is an addiction. If you are addicted to television, and I would say watching it every day is a sign of addiction, because anything you do on a regular basis every day is a type of addiction. If you're watching it every day, then first of all, the first thing you have to do is look at what you're watching. That's the most important thing first, as just a first step. Most people will find that what they watch is rubbish. There are certain people that do watch like the news, which I think is rubbish as well, because it's just empty. I mean, there's a book called Watching TV News by Neil Postman. Very clearly articulates the fact, this guy's a PhD in communications theory at Columbia University, that you don't learn anything on the news. You in fact are actually dumbed down. People during the Gulf War crisis, there were statistical studies done. The people watching CNN knew less about the war than people that were reading articles about the war. So, and you can read an article in 5 minutes. It'd take you a half an hour to watch a news program. About 90% of it is just what they call fluff. And then the 10% is... And the other thing, I don't think we should look, and I'm very opposed to showing pictures of dead Muslims. In the Battle of Uhud, when the Prophet saw the Muslims that were dead, he commanded the Sahaba to cover them over. That we should not denigrate our brothers and sisters that have died in the way of Allah by exposing their nakedness to the whole world to look at. And the fact that the kuffar do this is because they're just dogs over carcasses. That's what they are. They're just dogs. Those photojournalists, they're like dogs over carcasses. They have no human compassion for the people and the victims that they're taking pictures of, and the Muslims we should not become part of that. And I really would urge all of you to write magazines, Islamic magazines, and ask them to stop putting these pictures in our magazines, because one, we become desensitized to the suffering that our brothers and sisters are experiencing all over the world, but two, they literally don't benefit you. What you end up doing is looking at it, feeling disgusted, and turning the next page. And that is something, it's despicable in itself. The fact that you can see that and then go have dinner is a sign that the heart's dead. I mean, if we really had living hearts and you see one of those pictures, you'll vomit or just weep bitter tears and probably wouldn't eat. Hassan al-Basri, somebody mentioned death to him and he didn't eat for 3 days. So really think about that. But you know, the television is a serious disease. What I would recommend this Ramadan is everybody who has a television, just unplug it during that month. Literally put it into a closet and don't watch it for an entire month. And just look at the change that takes place in your life, inside the house. Was it positive or was it negative? That's what I would ask all of you to do. And what you need to do is really encourage your children and instill in them a love of reading from an early age. Because if you use the television as a babysitter as children, they will become addicted to it at an early age. And television is hard to compete with. It really is. It's a type of neural stimulation that books tend to have a difficult time competing with. And children that grow up watching television end up not reading. And this has also been documented. So I would encourage you to read the literature. There's a book called Kicking the TV Habit, which is a very good book for parents, and it gives alternatives to doing these things. And one thing with the children is, you know, I would just encourage like family people, instead of getting together to watch a television program, is do something